Fala galera, welcome to episode number 2 of the Strategy Mosaic series. If you remember, in the first one we created our first mosaic model. In this one we're going to be covering a very important topic, which is how to secure a model. By the way, I'll be using the one I created in the first video. So in terms of securing the model, what does that mean? In other words, we will see how to apply row level security and also object level security to the model. We don't want everybody in the company to have access to the same data or to the same objects. It's important that we restrict some information, and that's the purpose of this video. So stay tuned and let's learn together. Alright, so here we are in library once again. As you see, we created this first mosaic model. We saw how to create it in episode number 1. Let me go ahead and edit this one. And if you remember, we did all the attribute, metric creation, all the hierarchy stuff. Now, in this one, let me show you security, okay? We have 2 levels of security that we can apply. The first one is row level. In other words, who has access to specific rows of data in the mosaic model. And the other one is object level security. In other words, who has access to the model itself or to attributes and metrics in the model. We can control all of that stuff. To properly show you these concepts, let me go back here to library and let me open a first mosaic model that I created based on that model. All right, so this is a dashboard based on that model. You will see here, it's quite a beautiful one, right? With all those graphs, bar charts, some KPIs in here. So let's first talk about row level security. And the scenario here is, let's pretend I work in a physical store of that company, right? It's a retail company and I'm a manager for for a physical store. So I should only have access to physical store data, not to online store, mobile app, phone order. Or maybe you can control which specific categories you want folks to have access to. For example, I work in the physical store, but I only manage the electronics department. So I'm not allowed to see health, grocery, and I'm not allowed to see online, mobile app, phone order, all these stuff. So how do we do so? In order to show you this, let me go back to library, and then I'll go back to data. My first mosaic model, let me edit this one. And then I'll click in security and translation. We're not using translation this time. So I'll be applying here a security filter. To create it, I basically click this button, add new filter. And then I start defining the attributes that I want to apply row level security to. For example, in terms of category, as I mentioned before, I'm only allowed to see electronics. Okay, so let me click this one here. And then for sales channel, let me go and filter sales channel and just choose physical store. Because remember, me as a user, I work at a physical store and I only have access to electronics category. Now, I need to, after applying this filter here, I need to assign it to a user. So in that case, I'll be assigning it to my user, which is my name here, Igor, as you can see. I'm going to select this one and click Add. And to make it beautiful, let me give a name to this security filter. Let me call it Physical Store Electronics. Normally, we'll give it a better name, but as of now, that's fine. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and save this model. As you see here, I'm saving the model. And now it's time to check this in that dashboard. So I'm back here to library. I'm going to go and click in my first dashboard that we saw before. And as you see, I can only see electronics now in physical store. So it means all the numbers that we see here are properly being filtered. In other words, I only have access to the row level data that I have access to, in other words. All right? So that's the first type of security level that we can apply, row level security. Now let's talk about object level security. As you see here, I have attributes and metrics in this dashboard. And in my scenario, what I'm trying to do here is, let's say cost is a metric that I'm not allowed to see. Okay? Could be an attribute, could be any other metric, but let's pretend I'm not supposed to see cost. I don't have the access to this metric. So how can I disable users from accessing this metric right here? All right, so let me go back to library, click back here in data, choose my dashboard or my model, sorry, this one. I'm going to go back to security and translation. Remember, the filter is already here, the one for row level security, that's already covered. Now we're going to restrict users from seeing objects. Remember, I can restrict users from viewing the entire model, because let's say that's a model that don't belong to specific user or a group of users. That's something I can do. And then I can do it at the object level for each of the attributes and metrics available. As I said before, my user is not supposed to see cost metric because let's say it's a confidential one, could be salary, could be any other, right? Since I don't have salary here, let me use cost. And then I'll say user Igor is denied to see that metric. You click here, you search for user, you edit, and then again you save the model. And after saving the model, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the dashboard by clicking here home, my first dashboard, and then as you see, the cost metric disappears. The rectangle is still here because it's a form we have in the background, but the metric itself is not available for that user. This way you control who has access to objects in the model. Some of them could be confidential ones and you don't want everybody to see them, all right? If you later return here to the model, you don't see cost metric anymore because in this case I'm logged in with my user and I don't have access to that metric anymore. All right, so these are the two levels of security that we can apply to a Mosaic model: object level and row level security. All right, that was it for this one. I hope you guys have comprehended the importance of securing your models. And again, if you have any questions, any doubts, let me know. Send me your comments down below here. Thanks once again, and as I normally say, I'll see you at the next corner.